It starts off with an object crashing from the sky onto the ground. A girl calls out to her mother, but she dismisses her and tells her it's bedtime, so she has to pray. Wondering if what has fallen was an angel, a beastly voice announces they will reclaim their world. A tiger, goat, bull hybrid emerges and a man appears, parkouring from thin air. They battle, but the man wins with a sword, finishing off the bull. The bull slumps over and the man sheathes his sword. He apologizes and is sympathetic for the bull, but says it's injured people and his lady comes to this mountain. He says he doesn't need to show Miss Ashiri, that he'll just bury it. The words are heard again, "I will reclaim my world." His head throbs as he's shocked. Then the grass rustles just before the ground rumbles and explodes a hole. A woman calls out to Awen, then yells it. She wonders where he's gone and is upset because it's time for their noon prayer. The time is an era in which everyone believes in God. It's the year 718 in Exive, one of the greatest continents. The official religion is anti-Christianity. All the countries have been having problems with each other about the teachings of their God. 10 years have passed since the arrival of a new pope, and the people are happy to be protected by the chivalric order of the anti-knights. People want God's word, they fear demons, they respect angels, but the whole from the beginning could be where it ends. We learn the man's name is Awen Gardner. A lady asks him if he wants to know how to exorcise a demon. He says no, he's just curious, and the others in the room make jokes. One girl even gives him a cross, calling him a scaredy cat. One of the men say that they will be doing one tomorrow and ask if he'll be joining. He says, "Nah, I'm just a gardener." The others joke that he'd get killed. The maids come to tell Alwyn that Mary is calling for him and was this morning too. They see each other. She calls to him saying she got some flowers and wants him to put them in a vase. He notices there's a flower in her hair, and she blushes, asking if it looks good. He grabs her face and leans in. She gets nervous. He then swipes the flowers, saying that specific type can cause rashes on the skin. He admits they look good, but wants to choose another kind. Someone yells to Mary that Miss Ashiri is calling her. She yells back and tells Awen to take care of the flowers. A woman sits on a tree biting into an apple, and she compliments Awen's house and garden. She says it's a pretty nice place with a mischievous smile. There's a quick flashback to the hole in the ground. Awen fell in and sees a person asking if they're okay, and fell too. He then notices it's a girl, but she's covered in vines and isn't moving. He's confused, wondering if she's dead or something from the past. Suddenly a light inside her chest activates, startling Awen. She wakes up fast, flipping her head up, and the first thing she sees is Awen. They stare at each other. She seems to be calm and curious, whereas Awen is confused and cautious. She then leans and kisses Awen's lips. He faints and falls back, surprised, while she seems to savor the kiss. As she's figuring out she's been laying down for 1,000 years, Awen asks what is she. She says she's a demon, then transforms to the same girl that was sitting on the tree. Back to the present, she asks him how he feels, if he believes her now. He says sorry, he doesn't believe in that stuff. She's surprised anyone wouldn't, even after she saved him from the hole. He admits she's definitely not human and asks what she wants from him. She laughs and says she can feel the anger inside him. She wants him to pledge his soul to her so he can use that rage as power. She's eager, but Awen pushes her face away, asking what the details are. She then says the demon only wants one thing and starts going off about torturing angels and stealing the world back. Before she finishes, Awen vanishes, leaving her yelling, calling out to him, saying she's not finished. He says he's not getting involved with her. One of the maids calls out to Awen, saying that Mary is missing and should be dressing for a dinner party. Another one tells him to let them know if he sees her. Awen stayed silent but knew exactly where to find her. He comes behind her under a tree, saying she always comes here when something's on her mind, and asks what's wrong. He brings up the dinner party that is supposed to be with Mr. Fergus. She says she doesn't want to go. Her father and Miss Ashiri are trying to find a partner, but she wants to find one for herself. Awen says that her father cares for her happiness and wants her to become part of a good family. She asks Awen if he remembers that promise. Awen looks straight and confusingly says a promise. Mary frowns, looking at him, and says forget it. Upset, she turns to him and says she's going back. The demon lady laughs on a roof watching them. She says it's tranquil here, but deceptive, and the tranquility is about to come to an end. Back at the house, Mary and the maids gossip about a village on the other side of the mountain that got burned overnight. Mary says to stop scaring her. They apologize, saying it's just rumors, but still be careful anyway. They get worried about the village, insisting that the anti-knights will come to protect them. Mary says not to worry, they have Awen. The maids are shocked, saying they can't rely on him, joking that he wouldn't even kill a bug. But Mary says she knows for a fact that he's very strong. She says the first time that they met 6 years ago, he saved her from a beast. They say he never heard that and realize that he's been working the longest after Miss Ashiri. Mary says she gets in trouble when she goes out to play, and Awen is always there to help her. There's a quick flashback when they were kids, him calling out to her asking if she's alright. She has a thought how Awen doesn't call her by her name anymore, but whenever she's in danger, she can depend on him. Outside, Awen and the demon are together. Awen is digging the garden as she praises him for being a hard worker, but asks if he gets bored. Awen doesn't answer, just doing his job, and she starts suggesting maybe she just takes Mary's soul instead, that it's also tasty. Awen pulls out his sword and instantly points it to her neck. She looks surprised but not scared. Awen glares menacingly and says to keep her hands off Mary. She giggles and says he's revealing his true self, that his eyes are full of flames of fury that won't fade. She playfully shoves his sword back with a cross and insists that he becomes his minion to hack away at anything he doesn't like. She questions the garden if it's important to him, and saying a man like him shouldn't be serving Mary. He says she's a demon, how would she know anything about her? She then explains she knows how he was alone and she took him in. He's confused and asks how she knows, and she just says a demon knows everything. She says that they're the same, both betrayed and deprived of their world. He just says what? She asks if he's satisfied living here, saying she thought he would understand her. He just says what again? She then flies up and vanishes, dropping the cross into Awen's hands. Awen has a flashback. Awen's father praises him and Awen says he's gonna join the anti-knights to fight with him. Then in front of a judge, they say he's to be executed for mass murder. Awen cries out to listen to him. The crowd calls him a demon and a murderer. He's left to protect his mother alone. They have problems with medicine and food after the church raises its taxes. The mom says don't blame God, and not to give in to the lives of seductive demons. His mother is carried away while saying he mustn't give in, that demons are always beside him. Awen breaks the cross with his hands. It's night. People are enjoying the food, talking and laughing. Mary and Miss Ashiri are going through a forest in a horse carriage. They talk about the conversation Mary had. Ashiri says it went fine. Mary says it was awkward. Miss Ashiri says she trips up when she gets carried away. Mary groans. In the distant forest are a bunch of knights on horses. They are talking about if they should wait until night. Then one of them says if they're stupid. The fun is in trying to catch prey as they escape. Then they say let's go bring divine justice, and they march. Back at the house with the maids, Awen returns still thinking about the demon, if she's gone or what. As he's walking down the hallway, he hears the maids murmuring. He walks in to see them at the window. They're panicking about a fire and hearing screaming. They turn to Awen and gasp. Back at the village are screams of civilians and the roars of the knights. The knights are attacking the civilians. They ask why they're doing this and what they have done. Before he can finish, the knight says it's time for a purge and not to let anyone escape. Awen sees the flames on the village in the distance. He's wondering what's going on, then remembers Mary. He asks the maids where is she. They say she should be back soon, and she wants to ask what is happening. but Awen sprints off mid-sentence. He has a bad feeling but just hopes he's wrong. The horse carriage from earlier is broken on the ground. Mary sees figure on the ground. She's crying for him to wake up with no response. Behind her, Miss Ashiri is split by the axe of a roaring knight. He turns to her next. She breathes frantically, pleading someone to help. The knight tramples forward and swings his blade. Mary screams Awen's name. She opens her eyes, confused and shocked. Awen in front of her with a deep, bloody slice from his shoulder all the way down his back asks if she's alright. She's screaming that he's bleeding. The knight strikes again, but Awen blocks it. He yells at Mary to run back to the mansion. She asks what about him, and he says he said to run. She hesitates but goes. Awen asks the knight what he's doing and who are they. He ignores him, just attacking. Awen devises a strategy to dodge him and land a final blow in his neck between the armor. The blood slowly floods and his armor clanks as he drops. Awen looks around. He sees Miss Ashiri and figure, dead, then notices Mary off in the distance. She's confronted by another knight and slashed from the front, blood spurting out. Awen's eyes turn white. A flashback of Awen and Mary as kids, her eagerly asking him to promise that when she calls for him, he'll always be to her aid and to be by her side. Awen dashes and leaps to the knight, blood gushing from his back. He swings his sword, one swift attack, straight to the knight's neck, ending him in one blow. His sword breaks from the constant use. He turns, instantly running to Mary, lying on the ground. Awen screams, saying to hold on and don't die. Mary chuckles, barely able to say he called her by her name. Awen is thinking why this is happening. His father and mother died before, and he was alone. Now he thought he finally found his garden, a place of his own. The demon quietly lands behind him. He's in thought, wondering why the anti-Christianity knights are doing this. They're supposed to be protecting us, and if this is God's will. He cries, what did we do? His mother, father, and now his precious garden. He wishes for one more. He hears her voice behind her asking why he's angry. If it's because the world is unfair, because God won't help, or if it's because he's powerless. She says if he wishes to save her, it's still possible to sign a contract and he'll have the power to cleave the world. She gives him two options, die there or live in the darkness. He says the choice is clear and will give all of himself to her to protect Mary. She says very well, then grabs Awen's face and kisses him, saying to take this vow, that her master isn't God or Mary, it's a demon, her. She gives him the power to cut through vines, chop down branches, and carve out the world. She says not to forget from this moment on he is, but it cuts off before she finishes. The knights asking if they're done say purge is complete, but one says there's still one manor left. Standing between them is Awen and the demon. They're confused and say who wants to kill this one while they laugh. They trample toward them. Awen asks if they're bandits pretending to be knights or rebels since they're supposed to protect the kingdom. The knights actually answer, confused, saying they are the real knights. The bishop sent them for the land turning its back to God, that those who defy God's will must be brought to justice. He says he will be compassionate and let them repent, yelling now pray, and to his other knights to purge them. The demon tells Awen that's enough if he remembers what she taught him about the demon spell. She says to hold hands and breathe in sync. The knights are confused, saying that woman has horns. Awen says he doesn't accept their God and their justice. She says the same thing from before about the vines and branches, but after she continues from what Awen can't forget is that he is a demon's minion. As she transforms into an elaborate sword, a knight is sliced in half. Then all the other knights the same, even the horses. Awen stands after the bloodbath, saying what is the power of this sword, and who is she? She transforms back to normal and finally reveals her name is Verde. It turns out the land has been abandoned by God, and all of his emissaries will come to destroy it. Awen now has the power and has to help Verde fulfill her dream. She says this world is ruled by 6 angels and gnomes. He has to tear the wings off the angels, cast them to the ground, and steal the world from them.